on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you hear noises in the background, it is winding like crazy here. Like, it's been like windy all day. Like, it's been so noisy. So if you hear anything weird, that's what it is. So yeah, today I wanted to do an EDH video for you guys, talking basically all about like some really awesome like ramp in green. I'm probably going to be like, I don't want to say I'm going to be doing this for like all the colors, because let's be real here, green just has like by far the best ramp in the game. But I'm definitely going to be doing this like for a colorless, because there's a bunch of really colorless like mana rocks and mana ramp that I want to talk to you guys about. But I'm going to be doing like a couple of parts of this. These were just like 10 that I, jot down that are some of my favorite things to ramp with in EDH. And like, let's be real here, like spending your first couple of turns ramping I think is one of like the most important things that you're going to want to be doing. It's definitely something that I found that it's a really huge priority. It's definitely something if I'm running green, especially in my decks, I'm filling my green decks up with these cards so that I can get to cast my other stuff faster. So in absolutely no particular order, the first one I want to talk to you guys about is probably like one of my favorites, and that is Sakura-Tribe Elder. This is like basically an essential green card. If you're running green EDH, please run this card. This card's really amazing because, like, one, it's a 1/1, so if you need to block with it, that's really awesome. If not, it's just like a really good card that, you basically sack and you get a land. It's really fantastic to like play on like turn 2, because like once you play turn 2, you can like block with it, and like sack it in response. So like blockers are declared before damage is dealt, which is really cool. And then so you do that, and then you get another land, which is really cool. So then like on turn like 3, and then you play a land on turn 3, so like you have 4 lands on turn 3, which is really cool. So yeah, Sakura-Tribe Elder is just really awesome. The next two are actually like the same card, and that is Cultivate and Kodama's Reach. These are really fantastic, and what I really like about these is that the land that comes into the battlefield tapped does not count as your land for turn, which is really fantastic. So that means that you can basically like have another land. You can have that land that you get to your hand come into the battlefield if you didn't play a land for turn, which is really fantastic. So I'm a huge fan of these. Another thing too I really like about these is that it's any basic land, which is really great. So if you're running other colors other than just green, these are really awesome. So yeah. Fourth card we're going to be talking about is Rampant Growth. And I like Rampant Growth. I feel like it's a really good thing to have if you, like, really need mana, and you're just like, I really need something. And again, it doesn't count as your land for turn, which is really cool. Right, so this card, flavor-wise, makes me laugh a lot, because every time my friends play it, they say I'm gonna explode some vegetables. We're talking about explosive vegetation. And this card, like, something that's really interesting that I always find is that it's always really important to look at mana cost of the things that you're ramping with compared to like how many lands you get, do they come into the play tapped, etc. So like explosive vegetation is really good because like those lands that you get come to the battlefield tapped for 4 mana, and again, it doesn't count as your land for turn, so you can always play another land if you have one in your hand, which is really cool. So it's really good to get this out on turn 4, because then turn 5 you'll just have like 6, you can have like potentially 7 mana or something on like turn 5, which is really cool. So yeah. Then we're going to talk about one of the newer mana ramp that came out in Origins, and that is Nissa's Pilgrimage. And I like this card because you can potentially get like 3 things. Wait, what? If you have 2 monsters using your grave, switch over to 3 basic forests. Yeah, so basically, if you have Spell Mastery, for 3 mana, you get 3 forests to the battlefield tapped. And that's really awesome. And again, it's very important to note here that it says forest, so keep in mind that if you're playing in a deck that's like a little bit more color sensitive and you need to like just ramp to like any color, if you're doing like a 3, 4, or 5 color deck, so something like that. But yeah, I think Nissa's Pilgrimage is really cool. I'm really excited to play around with it in my Unlock EDH deck, which is almost done. I'm really excited for that. Right, cool. Very similarly to Sakura-Tribe Elder, we have Farhaven Elf, and I really like the thing I really like about Farhaven Elf is that it's any basic land, which is really cool. And you get a 1/1 out of it, which is really fantastic. It's just really cool. I like it. This card is awesome. I actually was like looking at, when I was looking at cards for Omnath, which is actually the reason why I'm doing this video, because I was just like looking at so much mana ramp in green. And I found this one card, and I was like, this card's really fantastic. And that is Skyshroud Claim. and it's basically like really good because you pay 4 mana and you get 2 forest into play. They don't come in tapped. 4 mana to get 2 lands. So good. I'm sorry, forest cards, which is really good. So I think if you're running like mono green, I think this card's like really fantastic. Really good non-math. Really fantastic. I'm really excited to use this card. And this other card has recently become one of my all-time favorites. And that is, I'm gonna so say this wrong, but Yavimaya Elder. I totally said that wrong. But basically, this is really great because it's 3 mana for a 2/1. And then when it dies, you get 2 lands. And a lot of times what happens is I'll see stuff like when this card dies, and I'm like, I don't know, like sometimes like things get exiled and they're like, oh man, like I really wish like, you know, I could have, you know, they could have been, you know, killed instead of exiled. So the thing that's really good about this card, though, is that you can sack it so you can control when it dies. So again, if you have, like, a blocker if you need to, and then you get to draw a card off of it. It's just, like, really fantastic. Given when you add that stuff up, it's, like, 5 mana total. However, the fact that for all of that mana, you get 2 lands, they go to your hand, which is pretty okay. And then the fact that you get to draw a card off of it, which is really fantastic, really good in like green, definitely. But I really like this card a lot. It's become like one of my all-time favorite like essential like green cards to run in, you know, in EDH. And the last card I want to talk about is just basically a way to mana accelerate, and that is Corso of Kruphix. This has become like, again, like one of my all-time favorite cards. Like this card is just so fantastic because like it helps so much. It helps like, you know, you have like the top of your library revealed, and I run this in Tasigur, and it's like so fantastic because like a lot of times what'll happen is like I'll Tasigur and I'm like I have no idea what cards are going to be on top or whatever, so I can control that and manipulate that a lot with Tasigur. Or I have a lot of effects where I'm shuffling my library a lot, so if I like the card I'm like, man, I'm just gonna like let that, you know, stay on my library because I'd rather draw it or something like that. So it's just really fantastic, especially if you're playing in a deck where you're constantly like shuffling your library and you want access to information about what cards on top of your library. On top of that, you get to gain life. On top of that, it's a 2/4 for 3, which is great. And on top of that, like you guys basically get to like, you know, you get to like play lands from the top of your deck, which is just really good. Something I really like about this too is that one of my friends constantly complains about the card Exploration because he's like, this card's so bad. He's like, it only matters for lands that you have onto the battlefield. I'm sorry, onto the lands that you have in your hand. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that. And like, I think that's one of the reasons why I think Corsair is just really good because it's from the top of your deck, so it doesn't really care necessarily what cards are in your hand. It just thins through your deck for you basically and just helps you get access to your like cards that are like not mana. So I like that a lot. So yeah guys, that was it. That was it for like 10 of my favorite like mana ramp in green for those EDH lovers out there. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Stay warm. It's supposed to be really cold and snowy in a lot of places right now, so if you're in one of those areas, or if not, just enjoy the rest of your day.